Automating your warehouse can be a daunting proposition. You're likely looking at millions of dollars of upfront investment, changes in the way your team operates day to day, and a cross-departmental effort to get the project over the line on time and on budget. So naturally, one of the most important questions you should be asking yourself is, how do you minimize risk? How do you avoid things going over budget, getting delayed, or not achieving the operational goals you had in mind at the beginning of the project? So in today's video, we'll be diving deep into 6 key areas you should be validating before a single piece of hardware ever arrives at your facility. And these are real lessons from the field, drawn on our entire team, which has delivered dozens of large-scale automation projects successfully. So let's dive into the first one. Make sure you have the correct operating data. Typically, automation solutions are designed around specific operating assumptions, things like order profile, peak throughput, SKU mix, and inventory days on hand. 2 warehouses can be picking the exact same number of items each day, but still need completely different automation solutions. And the first step is understanding how your warehouse actually operates and having the data to back it up. Because if your starting assumptions are incorrect or don't match the reality of your operation, then you risk spending millions on a solution that doesn't actually achieve the performance that you require. And of course, collecting data is not easy, especially if you're running a manual operation today. But trust me, this is the one area where you absolutely don't want to take any shortcuts and you want to spend the time to get it right. Because even if that means delaying the start of your automation journey, it's better to get it right on day one than pay for your mistake for years to come. Which leads me to the next point. Plan for the peak, not just the average. Average throughput can make any automated system look good on paper, but warehouses operate with cyclicality and peaks. And that's when the real test happens, when each order is urgent, everyone is scrambling to meet SLAs, and the automated system is running at full capacity. So before you buy any automated system, you want to stress test how it will perform in the toughest condition. And the best way to do that is through an extended multi-hour simulation that cycles through all the possible scenarios that your operation might encounter. And that allows you to fine-tune the solution at the design stage before anything is ever installed in your facility. One important caveat is that in most cases, it's enough to design an automated system for 90% of peak. Why not 100%? Well, because that last 10% would be sitting unutilized for the vast majority of time, and you would basically be hurting your ROI quite substantially for relatively little benefit. Are you enjoying this video? Most content around warehouse automation is either too technical or too salesy. We're trying to make it practical, useful, and grounded in real-life experiences. So if this is the kind of content you enjoy and want to see more of, subscribe to Brightpick here and follow us on LinkedIn. Back to the video. The third point to touch on is the physical site itself, specifically inspecting the site early. Robots deal with the physical world, so the facility where you install them can have a major impact on performance. Things like floor quality, ceiling height, fire suppression, electrical capacity, Wi-Fi coverage, installation access. These may sound like secondary details during early discussions, but if you discover a problem too late, it can mean redesigns, additional costs, or delays to the installation. And that's why it's so important to review your site early on, either with your vendor or an experienced third party who would know all the things to watch out for and tick off the list before you actually place an order. And the goal is to confirm that your building can support the automation before it moves into deployment. Next is software, one of the biggest sources of risk in any automation project. Now, there's 2 parts to this. There's the vendor's software, which orchestrates the robotic fleet, and then there's how your software integrates with the vendor's software. There's no point in having fancy hardware only for it to be hamstrung by suboptimal software optimization or integration. So as part of your vendor evaluation, you should get plenty of references from other customers on their experience working with that vendor's software stack. Things like how easy is it to work or integrate with? How reliable is it? Whether it had any major bugs or failures. Moreover, before you begin on-site installation, you should ensure that your WMS or ERP has already been successfully integrated with the vendor's software and stress tested for things like latency, recovery scenarios, and data loss. Okay, moving on to the penultimate point, which is reducing pressure around go live. Trying to switch your entire operation to a new system all at once creates a lot of pressure and leaves little room for errors. If your operation allows it, spreading the deployment into phases substantially eases this burden. You can start with one zone or workflow, validate the performance, train the team, make adjustments, and then scale from there. That also gives you a fallback during a ramp-up period, which any automated system requires. Now, if you can't split deployment into phases, for example, you're opening a new warehouse or you're under time pressure, there are alternatives. Specifically, setting up a lab environment or pilot program before the full-scale deployment can go a long way towards training your team and learning the potential points of failure so that when they occur in production, you can fix them very quickly. And last but definitely not least is the people and team. Automation doesn't just change how products move, it also changes how people work. And success requires alignment across many stakeholders, whether it's your operations team, IT, or the people actually working on site day to day. All these stakeholders need to both understand and be comfortable with the new workflows, not just in the day-to-day operations, but also in things like exceptions handling, issue escalation, support, onboarding new team members, and so forth. Oftentimes, buying installation and installing it is only half the job. The other half starts with the change management and training you need to do after installation to ensure ongoing success. To wrap up, any automation project will inevitably face some hiccups, and that's perfectly fine. The goal is making sure those issues are minor and can be dealt with relatively quickly so as not to impact your overall timeline or budget. And the best way to do that is through preparation, thinking through and mitigating all the potential risk factors at the beginning of implementation. Thank you for watching and subscribe if you want to get more insightful content into warehouse automation.